What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 10 of my Total Warhammer 3 modded Kroq-Gar campaign. So as we saw last time, pretty momentous episode as Kroq-Gar acquired Grimlock and Pradat acquired his own Kroq-Gar as well. We also took out the capital of the Exiles of Khorne at Death Gorge, showing off both our air superiority and our dino superiority as well. In addition to that, we were able to unlock, I believe, 2 artifacts at once and are very close to unlocking a third of the Wounded Hide armor as soon as we win a battle. So it's looking pretty good, at least in this area of the map. Kroqi will probably try to proceed towards Agrul Migdal, while we maybe can send Chameleon over to Floating Village, especially if we get him a few extra units, like, for example, the Regiments of Renown. That should hopefully be good enough for him to take this on without Kroq-Gar needing to intervene. I would hope so. We have 2 settlements remaining to the Exiles of Khorne, so if we can destroy them both, then we can proceed to continue doing whatever we want, which is probably to hunt down Queek before returning here. In addition to all of that, we have finally gotten our new dino building up and running, which means we're building up various types of dinos. We got the Revivification Crystal, we've got the Ark of Sotek, and we've got the Solar Engine, all coming up, and they'll all be needed. Also, you know what, while we're at it, let's build a couple more Feral Basties. Yeah, I want maybe a couple of Feral Basties, not in Kroqi's army rather, but in the, wait, let me just see here. You have bolstered leadership and immune to psychology, yeah? And you have, what? You have, oh, that's your primal instincts, yeah, okay, so you don't have anything of the like, but these guys are fairly cheap. In fact, they're considerably cheaper, and I'm thinking of putting a couple of them with the Skink army. I mean, it would be nice to have some Feral Stegs with the Skink army as well. Actually, not that big of a difference in terms of expenses. These guys are anti-infantry and these guys are anti-large. You know what? Maybe we get the Feral Stegs instead, even at the greater cost. At least they do considerably more damage. They're also a lot less tanky, though. Even if they do have more HP. Or at least they feel less tanky about most of the time. The Basties are just so hard to bring down. You know what? Screw it. Get 4 more Feral Stegs. We have the army, or the money, rather, and we may as well spend it. Alrighty, so that looks good to me. And next up, I believe there was a suggestion for a rename for the Kroq-Gars here. Tick-Tock Kroqs. I hope I spelt everything correctly. There we go. These are the blessed Kroq-Gars. Alright. I don't know whether they'll continue being in Kroq-Gar's army forever. They might go to our Kroq-Gar army eventually, but we shall see. Next up, we gotta spend our alignments. And though the question is what to spend them on. We could do the other Blessed Chameleon Skinks, or in the alternative, we do have this guy here. We can get you the Warpaint of Xhotl in order to get those Sundering attacks. Yeah, it's worth it. Let's get the Warpaint of Xhotl. There we go. Sundering attacks are just too useful, especially on the dinos as well. And we're down to 4 alignments, but I'm sure we'll get more if we continue fighting. Alrighty, and that was the best opportunity also to make use of the last turn of the reduction of cost for recruiting these guys. So, yeah, I'm almost tempted to get some Feral Basties as well, and just because they're reduced by, what was it again? By 25% in terms of cost. Would it be worth it right now? You know what, let's see how much money we have left. I don't want to overspend, but at the same time, it'll save us money in the future. Let us double check what buildings we have. We've already moved basically everybody. You know, let's just build this Grand Plaza. We can always delete it later. It's going to be annoying me forever if we don't. And then Karakazgal, yes, let's build the Holy Ziggurat. We can continue using the spawn pools of the Braves here. At least for now, though we will delete it later on. Everything else here is fine, and you can remain in the alignment of war for now, but you can swap out later. Then, I do believe we wanted the military alliance with Thoric, because he is now willing to pay for it, so that's another 3.4k. And there we go. Hopefully he doesn't attack any of our friends randomly. It would be annoying. But we wouldn't be able to do too much to it, about it, rather. Lizardmen District I guess the worst thing would be if he and Talaqua attacked each other. We really need to make sure that they're fighting the same enemies, even though they reasonably like each other at this point. Carrick Norn, who are you not fighting with ours? Just the Hunts Marshals expedition. I think Talaqua isn't fighting them either. Oh, speaking of fighting. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna have Itza. We're gonna join the rest of their wars. Clan Pestilence and, well, at the very least, Clan Pestilence, which will give us military access and a little bit of cash. Do we do Bordalo Errant as well? What's the likelihood that we actually end up fighting them once we appear here? You know what, let's do Clan Pestilence. Hopefully this will be enough. Propose offer. The goal with this is to try to get Itza friendlier and friendlier with us. Hopefully we can get our relationship with them up to around 100 or so, especially after we complete our current technology. And they are fighting so many enemies that Gorok will periodically get very weak, which will mean hopefully, and we can confederate him and start fighting in Lustria at the same time, which I'm excited at the prospect of. Kanos Kier, you are good. Chameleon... I mean, you guys do have points that you should be applying right now. Let's keep getting you a skirmisher, though. And I guess we probably have points with Kroq-Gar as well. You know what? Let's see. You have stand your ground now. Yes, very nice, very nice. And Pradat, what are you doing? Forward Scout, do we need to get you Vanguard deployment? Or do we just keep going for Hunter's Instinct? I mean, it's not like we're ambushing a lot right now. Honestly, we probably should get you Blade Shield as a priority. This is probably a little bit too niche. Although, if we get Tough as Nails, we can immediately get into We Are the Elite, which is a weapon strength increase to all of our units. And Esteemed Combatant isn't too bad either for the rare situations where we're the ones on the defensive. Ruinous versus Large Poseidon. No, you know what? We're going for Blade Shield. It's just that on the Kroq-Gar, on the Carnos. I keep thinking that they are Kroq-Gar mounts. On the Carnos, the melee defense is so incredibly low. The regeneration helps Pradat out, but Kroqi's still having a little bit of trouble due to his lack of regeneration and does get damaged quite a lot. Chameleon, let's move you up. You're going to go into March Stance and you're going to go right there. And then we'll go around and hit the floating village. I doubt they'll attack you, even in March Stance, but just in case they do, let's level up the Skink Chief as well, so Dance of Death. And I assume that's the only thing that's... yeah, okay. Dance of Death it is. Alrighty, last thing we need to do this turn before we end said turn and proceed here and here is this. We are going to very temporarily summon this perfect spawn Kroq-Gar Ancient. And we're going to use him to recruit 2 more Pterodon Riders with Fireleech Bolas for Chameleon's army. And then we're going to transfer them over, and then we're going to delete the Lord, at least for a while. It's going to be a long time until we can get a 3rd army, most likely, because we won't be able to afford it, especially once all these expensive dinos are up and running and taking another, like, over 1,000 gold per turn. Otherwise, I believe we are now good. Had to do a little bit of admin to prepare, but now we're prepared. Let's skip the rest of this, and... do you want to start upgrading this outpost, maybe? We can always cancel it if we really need the money next turn. You know what, let's wait until next turn, and then let's do that, if we can. There we go. We do, after all, also want to upgrade our our Chameleon army, so get those 2 regiments of renown in there, especially since he has Skink Skirmisher, peace treaty. Not while you're fighting Itza, my friend. And are you fighting Hexoatl, incidentally? You are not. Okay, well, that's going to be a no dice. We're going to have to check back Itza every time. Oh, hello. Oh, we just moved Chameleon out of there. Come on, man. Oh, why you gotta do that? Honestly, we don't really care that much about Morgheim. Great Incantation of Xar performed for Rock-Up Dynasty. Kroqi. I guess we could send you to the floating village, but I'd really prefer not to have to. What's the defenses like at Morgheim? Basically non-existent. Can Chameleon reach this army in one go? He cannot. Can Kanos Kier? No. So we could proceed to Morgheim to help defend it, or we could just allow it to fall. I mean, you know what? Maybe we'll just allow it to fall. I don't think we care that much about it. Here's what we can do. This will probably make Thor, well, it's a little bit of a waste for Thorak, but we'll trade him Floating Village, which we were going to do anyway, right before it dies. Huh. Oh, wait, I was looking for Morgheim, not Floating Village. There we go. We'll trade him Morgheim He can join our war against Clan Pestilence, I guess. Wait, how much money would he give us? Yeah, join our... Wow. This is barely worth anything. That's a little bit of a shame. Alright, fine. Join our war against Hunts Marshal and Clan Pestilence. Oh, wow, he does not want to fight Hunts Marshal. Interesting. Yeah, we took all his money for the military alliance, so he's not willing to give us too much. I wonder, what's in this army here? Are the walls breached here? They're not breached. And while you barely have any defenses... If we were to summon, for example, a temporary lord here... Not that I like any of these temporary lords, mind you. Yeah, these aren't all... None of these are good enough to actually keep. At least their traits are not. Would Chameleon be able to attack by himself? I mean, he can't do it right now anyway. The best way to do this. If you were to transfer some troops here, or to Chameleon rather, and it would take a lot of your movement, would you still be able to reach Morgheim? I don't know. Alright, maybe like this. Chameleon, you're gonna go back here a little bit closer to Karakazgal. Like so. Maybe even like so. Then we're gonna have Kanos here, move here, and also we're gonna do this and this. And we're gonna swap those units around. Oh, did I? Alright, fine. One red-crested skink. One less, rather. Like so. Then, we're gonna take Chameleon, and, damn, that didn't quite work out, unless we want to suffer attrition. Alright, fine, I'll take an extra turn, I guess. Not much of a choice in the matter. Go here without suffering attrition. And then, Kanos, you're gonna not go into ambush because you can't. You're just gonna go into Morgheim, which will prevent the Giblet here from doing anything at all. And then the two of you will proceed to Floating Village together, which will probably have a full stag by the time you're there, which will make it a bit of a toughie. Well, hopefully you can pull it off. Kroq, in the meantime, I guess you're not going there at all. Let's start marching you... Ooh, all attrition. All attrition. Ooh, hello. There's a forest belonging to the followers of Nagash here. Is this all attrition everywhere? Yeah, I was thinking that maybe we could pop into an ambush stance. And then move down there, but it's okay, just go into an camp. Like, so, whoa, what is this? Oh, wow, okay, that's not bad. Can you go into ambush here? You will suffer attrition. But if Arcan is moving up to Death Gorge, if we can manage this ambush, you know what? I think it's worth the risk. We can't reach Floating Village or Ogrul Migdal, I think, in one turn, or at least I doubt it. And even if we can, one turn of attrition is not so bad. I wish the attrition didn't hurt so much, though. But it would be nice to destroy Arcan. He might be going for Hadra Truai here, but we'll see as well. Alrighty, well at least we're prepared for that, and let's see who else needs to do anything. Koal, you have your temporary Pterodon riders, so let's move you northward, so that we can transfer those. Our money is dropped fairly considerably, though. You are going to get an upgrade Grand Plaza, and I believe that's good here. Next up, what do we have? Misty Mountain, yes to an upgrade, and yes to Skink Forging Camp for now. Alignment of War, no longer necessary either. Let's go for the Alignment of Monuments in order to get the additional research rate that we really need. And I believe that's it. Outpost upgrade available, I don't think we can afford it right now. Our armies have suddenly gotten a lot more expensive.
The nation calls.
But it's necessary so that we can have multiple forces doing their own thing. Alrighty, end the turn. Damn that little Giblet. Alright, he's gonna... Wait, did he move away, or is he hidden behind this thing? Can't quite tell. Alrighty, Arcan is going to... He didn't do what I was expecting, but he is in our territories, so I think that's actually fine. We'll go for this guy first, and then for Arcan after, though he is in march stance. I hope that we can reach them both. If we can't, we'll have to just... Whoa! Bowman of Orion destroyed. Clan Spittle destroyed. Settlement besieged Morgheim. Oh, I was not expecting that. Treasury rather, plus 600 for... Assassination or wounding this guy. Okay, I don't think we can wound that guy. They're both in march stance? Oh. While the ambush did succeed in that manner, can we reach them both? I don't know. I really hope that we can. It would be really unfortunate if we couldn't. We'd also have to suffer a turn of attrition either way. Damn, what? Wait. How could he possibly have this many crypt cores? The tier 3 building gives you... He has 6, and he has 8. I believe the tier 3 building allows you to build 4, which means what? He has those buildings in every single one of his settlements? How many territories does he have? He has... okay, fine, fair enough. If he has at least 4 of those buildings, then yeah, he does have the capacity. What do we do about you?
Let me think about it.
Ah, Savage Rogue Idol. Can we fight this? They'll siege for a turn. Man, I wanted to send Chameleon over here, damn it. We could try chasing this guy instead. Allowing Coronate forces to rebuild. Oh well. Yeah, we need to destroy this. Alrighty, let's do this. I should have just moved Chameleon there last turn, but I was not expecting it. Let's move you here. Let's have Kanos here attack this. He is not going to run Pyrrhic Victory. Really? Really? Huh. Okay, it looks like we're actually going to have to fight this. I was not expecting that either. I thought this would be very much auto-resolvable, but I suppose the Stone Idol does take some effort to bring down. Let's see how much effort right now. Alrighty, here we go. This may not look like a particularly difficult battle, but we're still probably going to have to work for it, at least to some degree. You gotta remember that the main army, the reinforcing army, is in march stance, so that they will be considerably weaker. And the skinks are fairly fragile in general. This guy's armor and hat are just amazing. Yeah, Lizardmen pretty, they've got aesthetics down pretty well. Definitely one of the top tier factions, just purely aesthetic-wise. Hard to beat that armor set. But anyway, I'm going to speed this up a little bit while we wait to join the battle. The reinforcements are going to come on the field, and then we'll have to array ourselves before the enemy. I'm also fairly excited about seeing the Rogue Idol in action to some degree. Funnily enough, I feel like I've only seen Rogue Idols like once or twice. Generally, I never ever see them for some reason. They're quite rare for the AI to actually show up with them, so it's nice to actually see one for once. It's all giants and Arachnaroks in my experience, but hopefully we can have some fun with it, at least for a little while. Alrighty, and yeah, I fought Grom the Paunch quite a few times as well, and still no Rogue Idols. Anyway, we are just going to move into position real quick, still gonna take a minute or two. But sped up, of course. All of our stalking units are going to move onto the sides, and we're actually going to send both our lords, both Kanoskir and Chameleon, onto the sides as well. The purpose for this will be for them to take the charge from the enemy boar boys or chariots, then allow the Chameleon Stalkers and the Chameleon Skinks to move in. Now, first of all, we're going to sacrifice, I guess, the garrison forces here. We don't really care about them. They will come back, and we're just going to use them to distract the enemy a little bit while we move the rest of our main forces in. So, Saurus, you will serve a greater purpose, and that greater purpose is the advancement of the Old One's great plan. And this will allow our army to move up and speed it up a little bit more. Alright, there we go. Looks like the garrison forces are out and running, but that's perfectly fine. We're in. Our Amexon Barb is also going to start chucking its tail spines at the enemy. I'm going to start on focusing the enemy stone trolls for a little bit, but we'll be switching to that stone idol, or rogue idol rather, as soon as it gets there. I like the glinting of the swords that we can see. That's neat. Or not just swords. Alrighty, over on the flanks, the battle has begun with the Chameleon Stalkers and our lords engaging the enemy. Here, Chameleon actually taking quite a bit of damage, surprisingly, though perhaps it has a little bit to do with the fact that his armor's down, sundered to half, and on top of that, he is in march stance. On the bright side, though, this does allow our units to advance. There's the Chameleon Stalkers chucking their precursor weapons as they move in. The Chameleon can always heal up, so it's not going to be such a huge concern. Our other units are also moving in as well. We're going to target the Pterodon Riders, the non-Fire Leech Bolas, the regular ones, to target the Stone Idol, Rogue Idol, every time. And there we go. Our Rogue Idol is looking like it wants to engage our Red Crest, but we're not actually going to allow it to do that. Oh, that was a nice shot. We're not actually going to bother. These guys are just running around it to get at the enemy ranged units while we target the Rogue Idol with approximately all the javelins, and both from the Javelineers and from the Sentinels of Pahwaks, or Pahwak Sentinels rather, and the Amixon Barb is firing at this as well. Look at all those debuffs. Lethal poison plus poison. Oh, who's providing lethal poison? Is it these guys? Huh, where's this from? No, they're just regular poison. Oh, it's the Amixon Barb, isn't it? Yeah, it is, okay. That's nice. Can combine it further with the Ark of Sotek. Anyway, that thing is already below half HP from the focus fire, and to be fair, there's quite a lot of focus fires, so it's going to be dropping any second here. Alright, get a few more shots. It's actually going to try to back up, but that is just a lot of javelins. You'd think that they'd all be pinging off the Rogue Idol, but no. And there we go. It crumbles apart and crushes a few of our Red Crests, but they march on towards the enemy ranged units. The Orc Airboys are about to be engaged. The Goblin Rock Lobbers and the other Orc Airboys are all now fighting Red Crests, and they're not going to win that one. Really, the flanks are the only place where there's still some battle going on. The Stone Trolls fighting our Chameleon Skinks instead, or Chameleon Stalkers rather, and said Stalkers are taking a little bit of damage, though fortunately they do have Connor's Gear to lead them. Plus the Trolls are about to start taking a lot of javelins to their backs as we have finally moved in our Skink cohorts to try to support. And the Savage Orcs are also going to absorb some of those javelin shots in the back, but that certainly works for us. Gotta be careful about killing a lot of our own Chameleon Skinks with it, though. Alright, and the enemy is very much in a crossfire here. Looks like the Trolls are actually going to rout, and so are the Savage Orcs. And now we're going to switch our targets to those enemies that are still remaining in the fight. There's a Savage Orc Biggin unit here where Chameleon is fighting. The Lord is still up, but otherwise it's just a matter of time as we kill the last remaining enemy range units, and the battle should be just about ours. And there we go, Fire Leech Bolas helping out as usual. Get a few more shots in there, and this unit will be pretty much done as well. And there we go. And of course we have our Chameleon Skinks firing as well, and if it's the blessed Chameleon Skinks, they're also not applying poison, but rather applying burnt and helping our additional fire damage come down from our Pterodon Riders. And there we go. Looks like the enemy Boar Boys are out. We're going to continue hitting them with our blow guns, or blow darts. And is the battle ours? Indeed, the battle is ours. The enemy Lord pretty much refuses to fight. He routs at pretty much full HP, surrounded as he is by piles upon piles of Red Crest. Looks like this unit took quite a bit of damage, though, and down by about 100 units. Really gotta watch out for the Red-Crested Skinks, as they are very fragile. Granted, they're not supposed to be used as a main line, but, you know, this is a fairly skink-heavy army, so, and we don't have much of a choice. Skink cohorts are pretty much just as fragile anyway. And alright, just gonna clean up as many of these enemy units as we can, so that we don't have to chase them down, especially as, unless I'm mistaken... Oh wow, what was that shot? Right in the middle of our skinks there. Unless I'm mistaken, Chameleon can't actually reach the enemy army again, as in he's at the limit of his march stance range, so that means Kano's Kier and his relatively limited force will have to hunt down what remains. So if there's too many, he's not going to be capable of it, because his army is just a pile of skink cohorts with javelins. Although he himself should be able to take on the enemy Lord, who in fact doesn't need to be taken on again, because he just died right there in this pile of skinks. Anyway, there we go, a decisive victory for us. A little bit annoying that these guys came here and distracted us from the exiles, but we'll get them in a couple turns instead. Alrighty, not too bad. Still took a little bit of damage, but of course it's not surprising considering our skinks are fairly fragile. That rogue idol went down a lot faster than I thought that it would, but hey, at least it did and go down, and it was pretty entertaining. Can't wait to see more of those throughout. Now we are going to, I guess, take the money for this, mostly because the replenishment doesn't apply to Chameleon. And yeah, alright, so release those captives. Gotta remember that Chameleon's army was in March stance that time. Enemy is going to... Please don't tell me he's across the water. We're able to reach him. Hey, we got that wounded hide armor now, very nice. And physical resistance plus 5% for all units in army. We're gonna give that to, I guess, somebody in Kroq-Gar's force, which is, let's see, Pradot. Let's say you. And this gives you the damage resistance plus 15. As opposed to, wait, Kroq-Gar currently has the glittering scales. You know what, maybe we'll give it to Kroq-Gar specifically, at least for now. Because he's more likely to get hurt, and then we can, once we get like an Armor of Destiny or something along those lines, then we can give it to him. Also, what type of item are the Hand of the Gods? Let me just check this in a second. Pradot, you can have the glittering scales. Where are they? Right here, and oh right, we have the Tormentor's Sword. Let's give that to you. You can fly around, and then you can pop Tormentor's Sword to debuff enemies and to stop them moving. I think that'll work quite nicely. Also, do we have any items that we can get rid of right now? No. The rest remain relatively useful, alright. So none that we can turn into newer items. What did I want to check? I wanted to check your quests. So Hand of the Gods is a... oh, it gets a... it's one of these. Okay, so we won't be able to get a healing potion on Kroq-Gar. We really need to get him some kind of regeneration then. And is that nice? It does have melee defense buff, which is quite nice. But yeah, and then he has no way to regenerate HP at all. Concerning. Maybe there's some kind of talisman or armor that also has regeneration or offers regeneration. We'll take a look. Well, over time. Anyway, Kanos Kier, you are going to hunt this guy down, especially since Chameleon can't reach him right now, so go, go, go. Should be able to auto-resolve the rest of that. Auto-resolve, please. Please give us a few alignments, just the one. Ah, man, okay, fine. And we will get Exterminate to get a little bit of extra research. Don't go across the water, thank you. And back to Morgheim you go. Alrighty, and then Chameleon, well, slowly back to the floating village. Yeah, these guys are definitely gonna have something of a stack by the time we get there. And well, 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 if it ain't the rats, Shurf to the Blade is running around. Nah, we're not gonna waste money on that. I was about to think maybe we level up Morgheim, but no, it's not worth it. Kowal, go out here. I guess you can help at least for one battle at the floating village, and then we'll delete you right after because you're costing us an unnecessary amount of cash right now. Not that we are really hurting for cash, because there's not a lot of buildings to upgrade as of yet. Really, we need more territory. Otherwise, let's double-check diplomacy a second time, in case anything changed.
You require it. Monster hunter.
Wow, these guys really want peace.
Empire shall burn
4K
your
now.
jungle to the ground.
Yeah, but Itza's gonna get angry.
Last
Minus 56, eh? You know what, we'll keep it for now. If they continue wanting peace and Itza has a good enough relationship with us, although 57 isn't all that crazy, it will rise once we get the sequence of coexistence, presuming that they survive, which also help out with tic-tac-toe. I really want that flying army. You guys can see how much I've been enjoying the flying units, and we can get even more. Anyway, I guess there's nothing much to do but to go into the next battle, which I guess is going to be against King Kura here. And Kroq-Gar, that's you. You're up, buddy. And we'll see if we can reach Arcan after. If we can't, we can't. We'll still try to hunt him down. This is auto-resolvable, but I feel like it'll still be a fairly fun fight. That's a lot of crypt horrors, and we do have to preserve HP so that the Feral Stegodon doesn't die to attrition. So there are considerations here. What I'm getting at is we're going to fight this cinematically as well. Alrighty, looks like Kroq-Gar is not interested in giving a speech this time around, but that's fine. Here we go, our first battle against the followers of Nagash. Granted, we fought Tomb Kings before, but this is different. The followers are about as close to the Nagash faction as we're likely to get. The thing is, especially now that we have the advent of the outpost system, and those watching my Arcan campaign are familiar with this, it just gets so much more fun and variety with these with this faction, as not only do we have the ghouls and the Karenites and whatnot from the vampiric roster, but all the vampire coast units and the vampire counts units that we can put into our armies via the outposts, which is just so fun. So many options for this faction now. Definitely, probably. I like to say that a lot. It makes him one of the more fun Tomb Kings factions to play. Anyway, in the meantime, the battle is joined and we are just flying around and annoying the enemy as best as possible. These slow skeletons are vulnerable to fire as they have weakness to fire, and we're just going to destroy all of those before they get to our battle lines, especially considering how slow they are. Granted, this will probably see that the enemy activates the Realm of Souls, their first activation up now, but honestly it's probably not going to protect their infantry anyway. And if they're wasting their Realms of Souls as they move up, that actually kind of works in our favor. There we go, looks like the enemy bats, the only things that were still a threat to our Pterodons, are now down, especially with Teto Echo leading the charge against them. Looks like the enemy range are all destroyed, and the enemy melee infantry are all getting wrecked by the Fire Leech Bolas as well. Fire Leech Bolas, as usual, have been an absolute star in this campaign, and I'd like to be on this side of this. In my own Arcan campaign, again, to reference it, just had the opposite thing happen where we had to face off against enemy Fire Leech Bolas with a bunch of skeletons of our own, and the Fire Leech Bolas are a scary opponent as the Tomb King. Anyway, over on the flanks, we have enemy units of Crypt Horrors moving up here, and we have Doggos and Crypt Horrors moving out to this flank as well. Fortunately, our Chameleon Skinks, together with a unit of Cold One Spear Riders on each side, should be able to prevent those guys from doing anything. Our main battle line awaits the enemy as well, but we will continue bombarding and annoying the enemy with our Fire Leech Bolas until it gets there. Looks like we got these Crypt Horrors moving in, but they're going to take quite a few shots from the Chameleon Skinks. What's the speed comparison? 52. They're very close, but it does look like we would be able to allow these guys to chase us pretty much infinitely, as they're just slightly slower when poisoned than the Chameleon Skinks. Though granted, skirmish mode is pretty broken, so if you don't watch them carefully, it might not work out. It looks like some of the enemy Crypt Horrors are wading into our Saurus now, but Pradat is going to lead the Blessed Kroq-Gars in. Actually, regular Kroq-Gars, but Blessed spawning. While Kroqi moves into another unit of enemy Crypt Horrors, though we do gotta be careful about Kroqi getting too hurt, because he's already badly damaged from the previous fights and the attrition, and he doesn't have a way to heal himself. Alrighty, Legion of Chakwa looking fantastic as always, a rivaling Temple Guard with all the gold that they have on them. Looks like the flanking units of Crypt Horrors are getting wrecked here by the other unit of Kroq-Gars, the TikTok Crocs, as well as taking shots to the back from our Chameleon Skinks. We don't even need to apply our Cold One Spear Riders to these guys, because they're already melting away, and we do have Saurus with spears helping out anyway. Oh, I do like a good Kroq-Gar versus Crypt Horror matchup, though. And there we go, knocking those guys down, and it looks like the battle will be ours very shortly. The bounce power at about 90%, the Crypt Horrors are melting away, and they have absolutely no support, which is why they're dying so quickly. And they were supposed to advance with all those skeletons, but our Air Force destroyed them before they could. Looks like the enemy is going to summon some Ushabti on the field, which will do a decent amount of armor piercing and splash damage. So we'll have to watch out for those, though it looks like they're getting wrecked quite quickly, and by both Pradat and Kroqi focusing them at the same time. Looks like Pradat's actually going to peel away and fight the enemy Lord briefly. But said lord is also going to get surrounded by Kroq-Gars, and just like that, the battle will be suddenly ours. A really, really quick one, probably unnecessary in terms of the cinematic battle. I thought that the enemy would give us a little bit of a tougher time, but honestly, with them in march stance, it doesn't look like they could really do anything. That's fine though, it's only our first battle. We're going to be seeing Arkan, hopefully if we can reach him shortly, and on top of that, we still have his entire faction to attack, so just the beginning. Alright, there we go. 6 losses, extremely minor damage to our army, and while I do want the money, I think considering we're in attrition territory, we're probably better off healing up, even if 10% isn't all that much. These enemies' armies are really not going hard enough on the air defenses, considering our usage of the Fire Leech bolas, though that works fine by me. Kill and eat them, please. And let's see, are we in range of Arkan? We are just barely in range of him, which is perfect. I mean, we'll still take attrition, but it'll be worth to destroy 2 armies and probably be relatively safe from these enemies for at least a little while. And in terms of the alignments, we should also spend those. And we do have, yes, okay, let's take a few seconds to check these out, shall we? And we got new units, which means new Warpaint. Perfect Vigor on the Ark of Sotek versus the Warpaint of Xhotl, which removes 10 armor, but gives a contact effect that lowers melee damage. Oh my. That seems pretty nice. I like that, especially in combination with the various poisons, and the fact that we've got the Ark of Sotek ability as well. Speed 20, huh. Wait, is this just a straight up regular poison? It's all by 20s. What does regular poison do, just out of curiosity? Yeah, it's everything by 20. Okay, so I take it the Vortex simply applies poison and it isn't just a different named effect, or maybe it is. Who knows? I guess we'll have to try it out. What do we have on the Revivification Crystal? Another Warpaint of Xhotl. Gives him Banish, which lowers magic and physical resistance, but also gives us... Okay, damn you, bug. This gives us power recharge and reserves per second, versus Unbreakable and a ward save. I'm inclined to do everything that's in Kroki's army to have the Warpaint of Xhotl. Honestly, we need to theme his army around the City of Destiny in general. Oh, that's so annoying. Alrighty, and then lastly, what about you? We got Bolstered Attack. Oh, that's kind of terrible, isn't it? Don't these guys have Bolstered Attack anyway? Yeah. So it essentially turns the Basti, if it's in range, and it's a fairly short range, to buff stuff up, versus Warpaint of Xhotl, which just straight up powers up its range damage. Alrighty, I think out of all of these, the one that seems the most interesting to me is probably the Ark of Sotek one. Specifically the Overwhelm one. It does make it a little bit less tanky, but I do like the idea. Even if Perfect Vigor is going to be very nice on it, this thing is a support. It's a support Basti, although I suppose all Basties to some degree are support Basties. Well, let's do Warpaint of Xhotl. Which, oh, it removes poison from it and replaces it with Overwhelm with, oh my. That's quite a bit. The reduction on damage is very high. Huh. You know what, that's fine. The Overwhelm will stack with regular poisons to go for minus 60 weapon damage. Yeah, that'll help these skink armies quite a bit. We'll definitely need more Arks of Sotek for them. And they will appreciate it, I'm sure. We'll need to build another one of these buildings in order to increase capacity, however. Yeah, I remember the last time I played Lizards really trying hard to get more Basti capacity, because you really need the Basties, especially in early game, pretty much everywhere. Anyway, oh man, these guys are going to cost us another 600 gold per turn. I'm almost a little bit regretting them. Maybe they're not going to be all that needed right now. I mean, maybe we should hold off, because we don't want to drop to like 1,000 gold per turn where we're not making any money at all, especially since all of these advancements aren't actually worth anything to us. They're all in the Badlands or the Wastelands, and we are not going to be making any money from them until we move into the desert and start taking territory there. Yeah, so maybe we'll cancel those and either replace them with Basties or just keep them, or just keep without. I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. Either way, unfortunately, we're out of time, and I want to save the cinema. Oh, wow. You're basically dead, actually. Huh. I didn't realize that you were basically dead. We might actually be able to auto-resolve this. He suffered quite a bit more damage from the attrition than I would have thought. We actually probably won't be able to auto-resolve because the Feral Stag will most likely get sufficiently hurt that the attrition will do more damage to us. But we can always just fight this manually super quick at the start of next episode. Speaking of next episode, next time we advance on Agrul Migdal with Kroq and hopefully take that out, though it actually looks to be a pretty easy fight. This one, maybe not. We will see if Chameleon can take it, and he will have to heal up as well, because he did get hurt fighting those orcs. And if he can't, we'll just have to send Kroq to help out with that as well. Really, we'll probably want to raise and sack a bunch of territories here before heading southward to attack Khemri. Not that I necessarily wanted to fight Khemri, but they have the only territory where we can easily expand right now. I guess that's one of the biggest problems for Kroq. Everything north of him is either yellow or red territories, and everything south of him is red territories as well. So it's really only west that you can go, isn't it? At least for now. I guess there's elves down there, but I'm pretty sure that's not as great as well. We need to just go through, we just need to just go west, go through the lands of the dead, and then push onward towards Illustria. Start getting all the jungles. Although this is why we really want to confederate Gorok. Anyway, I digress. More fights to come, so stay tuned for more lizards. Don't forget to leave a like and comment. All glory to the algorithm. And thanks for watching.